city because it was getting late to kind of rediscuss what we were going to do. And I think the general thing is we were going to go and see what was in the mountains, wasn't it?
Benaloop.
Yep.
Yes, the reason you were going to go to the mountains to Benaloop is because some people had disappeared on the way there. So you were kind of going to investigate that place. So you had returned to Algeciras from a rather traumatic experience where, yes, absolutely, Martin Carrasco nearly died, confronting a creature that, you know, smells of yellow kind of thing. You arrive in Algeciras. It's still quite hot. You've been a few hours on the road. What do you want to do once you arrive in town? You know what you want to do, what your plan is going to be, but I would like to know how are you going to approach it from the moment that you get into town.
It's hot, it's dusty. I say we find a bar.
I don't have any objections, if I'm honest.
I'm at the back of my mind, as ever, is always the fact that we are potentially being watched.
Yeah.
And this is kind of been a real problem for my guy. This kind of sensation of, you know, we've been watched, or felt that we've been watched at the church. We've been watched at the funeral. I'm having to be very careful about what I say, so I'm trying to formulate everything in my brain without being verbal about what I want to do next, rather than you kind of indicate it in non-verbal ways. One thing is, it's kind of I want answers, and the only place in the town I feel I can potentially get answers is the bookshop that was mentioned. The esoteric bookshop in town. So I would like at some point to kind of get there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think a bar and a bite to eat is probably a very good idea at this stage.
Paco, because of the experience of being watched and the way this thing appeared, I want to find out whether or not the relic that got referred to earlier is still present where it should be. The eyes of whoever it was.
The eyes of the hermit.
Yeah.
Okay, they would be in the church that you are very familiar with because it's La Iglesia de la Palma, which is, funnily enough, I believe that you should be able to see it, but I am going to send you a photograph in Discord nevertheless of the place from within, and because people can see it now, but this is a photograph of La Iglesia de la Palma, and that is where it would be.
Yep. So I want to go and check that it is still there and it hasn't been appropriated.
It is indeed there, and it has not been appropriated. Nobody's touched it.
If I moved it, how noticeable would it be?
Fairly, because it's a well-known relic, and people would probably know about it and realize. But then, I don't think that anybody would truly question you unless it didn't return.
I'm going to discuss it with my colleagues first before deciding, but I may come back to get it. I just, if it does have some kind of power and it enables us to see this creature, this thing, or if it allows us to look back at whoever's watching us, or just simply protect us from being watched, I just feel that there's so many things about it that suggest that might be possible. but I'm going to discuss it with my colleagues before proceeding down that route.
Okay. What do you two have to say about that?
So, what is this exactly supposed to do?
I don't know. It's a relic. It's simply the eyes of the hermit. That it's always troubled me that it isn't as classic a relic as you would expect. You know, it's not a fragment of the True Cross. It's not a finger bone of Saint Cecilia. It's not the breast milk of Saint Agatha. It's the eyes of a hermit. Not. It's always concerned me. There are legends suggesting that it has potency, some kind of power to see that which isn't normally visible.
I am not one to.
They're not. The eyes aren't shaped like human eyes. It may just be because of the liquid they're in, but there's.
Can you move them without attracting attention?
No, but I could give an explanation for why. I could say they're going to be re-blessed somewhere, or that there's even damage to the reliquary and I'm going to take it to get it fixed. The legend states that they're the eyes of San Victor the Hermit. He was a saint born in the 7th century, but he's a forgotten saint. He's not in any of the. He's not in Butler's. He's not in any of the other hagiographies at all.
A practical question on more of a practical scale. How would we use them?
I don't know. I just feel we need an edge. It's the fact that they're eyes, it's the fact that we are being watched, and it's the fact that there's something that we apparently can't see until it wants to be seen. Maybe we can. Maybe when you check the books, that's another thing you can look for, to see if there's any reference that might help us understand how to use such things.
Padre, in all seriousness, after what we saw yesterday, are we really sure that we want to see what we normally cannot see?
If it stops it from doing what it did to that poor man, then yes, I will gladly view the gates of hell if I have to, if it prevents harm.
Then get them. And if there is a God, then he will forgive you.
Oh, I don't think there's anything to forgive. I'm not stealing them. I'm merely borrowing it.
With a lie.
No, that's not a concern. Frank, when you are at the bookshop, maybe you could inquire if there is anything relating to San Victor the Hermit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing that occurs to me, or another person we could potentially speak with, is Martin's friend, the priest, as to whether he has any advice on possible courses of action.
See, Brother Sebastian?
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Other than that, I don't want to kind of... I don't want it to become kind of common knowledge or kind of anyone spreading rumors or anything like that and kind of pointing arrows at us from certain kind of people. So I don't know how we're going to kind of arrange all this without kind of drawing attention to ourselves. I think we need to kind of really be careful about who we speak to and how we speak to them at this stage.
I agree.
I mean, part of my concern is I walk into this bookstop, I start talking to this bookseller, and he's got a direct line to you know who, or is in cahoots with him.
It's possible. It's a risk, but we need the intelligence.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Now, first, I think we should get a drink.
Yeah.
I know I could use one after yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Surely it depends what you're going to ask the bookseller, Frank. There are things you can ask without fully exposing what you're after.
Mm.
You can just browse the shelves for a start.
Yeah, and I'll say it's relating to personal interest.
You could ask about that creature, the Hellhound.
Although I'd probably say I'll refer to it that I've been having a reoccurring dream of such a creature, rather than saying I've physically experienced it. And maybe that might help. Maybe they can point it out in some sort of tone. I don't know if there's like a kind of a book of Demonicus or something like that, where you can actually, these things are listed and you can just pick and choose which one you're particularly being haunted by at any one time, whether it's a homunculus or a
search me, my
manual
friend.
of monsters type thing, you mean?
Yeah, book of ghouls or some sort.
Hey, certainly worth asking.
Yeah.
So about this drink.
And as strange as things seem at the moment, whether there's actually anything, some sort of talisman or some sort of warding or some kind of protective.
You mean a crucifix?
Not necessarily, no. I'm thinking more occult, I'll be honest with you, Father. I don't fight fire with fire, almost,
Each to their own.
Okay. So, are you going to go to see this mine?
Yeah. I mean, does anyone want to come with me? I don't know when we go ham-fisted, but I don't know if anyone wants to come with me. Just while I'm chatting, they can kind of keep a second pair of eyes looking around the room, see if there's...
That is my thought.
Yeah.
So I will come with you, Padre. You are welcome to join us, of course. You've come this far. I do not think any of us should be alone.
Just
at the risk.
Just so you know, everybody knows the owner of the bookstore. He's one of the 2 bookstores in town. It is the only bookstore that would be able to cater for anything at all esoteric. So it's not as if he is any kind of unknown entity. It's a small town. Everybody knows Anselmo, including yourself. Yeah. So you have already spoken.
It's more the fact that how he's going to react to certain, our line of questioning is kind of my concern at this point.
Okay.
But maybe the presence of a priest may either reduce or increase his likelihood to talk. We can gauge that. I'll come along. If it looks like it's opening him up more, great, I'll stay. If he looks reticent to discuss it in front of me, then I will make my excuses and leave.
Okay,
so you arrive to Algeciras and you go to La Plaza Alta, have some refreshments, a bit of sangria because it's very, very hot at the moment. Snails are in season, so you can get a little bit of snails and tomato sauce, which are absolutely delicious. and it's really wonderful, and some red wine to go with it as well, perhaps. So you really you get submerged again in the whole spirit of Andalusia and this tiny little town, and you head down to the bookstore, which hides behind a very plain facade, and inside the bookstore is this man that I am uploading a photograph for you three to Discord, and opening for our viewers now. Anselmo is a man in his early 50s, perhaps late 40s, perhaps late 50s, perhaps early 40s. It's very difficult to say his age. It's just that he looks so incredibly well dressed and so old-fashioned even for the time that he could be dressing up like a grandfather. So you don't know how old he is. And he receives you in this little dingy bookstore, where there are several. You as you enter, you have a small counter to your left with a few items on sale underneath a glass top. You have some magnifying lens in there, and you have some writing utensils like pens and a couple of quills, some ink. In front of you, to the other side, there are a few rows of shelves of books of all sorts, where you can find things like from El Quixote to the works of Góngora and Quevedo. You can find some poetry even from youngsters like Antonio Machado, who is doing the rounds in Seville and really shows a huge amount of promise, which is fantastic. But you all notice that behind the counter, there are 3 perpendicular shelves that literally get lost in the dark. You can see the beginning of the shelves, but you really cannot see the end. It's dark. So you can only imagine that they are a lot deeper than they look. And Anselmo looks at you and says, "Oh, gentlemen, please be very welcome. Father, it is such an unexpected surprise to see you here. How may I be of assistance?"
I do read, you know that, don't you?
Oh, I know, Father. I understand. Of course, I know you read. It's just that I didn't think that after the bishop decided that my shop is not good enough for the clergy, I would have the pleasant company of another clergyman. I am genuinely surprised, and but please, I truly welcome you to my humble store.
I wasn't aware there'd been trouble or a dispute. Besides that, point me towards your hagiographies. I'm going to consult those. I think my good friends here are looking for something else.
Of course you are. Please do help yourself to whichever book you wish.
So I'll go and find the books of saints and busy myself with that as just to get myself out of the way.
And Martin will quietly leave a not insubstantial, but also not great amount of money on the counter. Not a bribe. He's actually slowly paying off one of the mid-range Cervantes. Martin's a reader.
Okay.
He's just been buying books slowly.
And Anselmo looks at you, looks at the money, looks at you, looks at the money, looks at you, and says, "You forgive me, sir, but you realize that usually you find a book you want and then decide if you want to pay for it?"
Just establishing a narrative detail there, Paco.
Oh, okay.
Martin's been coming in, and he's slowly paying off a fairly rare, if not exceptional, edition.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't understand that. Okay, fair enough.
No. It's all good.
Okay, so well, in that case, Anselmo will look at you and say, "Oh, Martin, blimey, you are early this morning. I thank you very, very much. I thought you weren't due for another 2 weeks."
I felt the need to make a payment early.
Well, I very much appreciate it. How are you enjoying Lady Dulcinea's giving the elbow to Don Quixote? I think is the most charming way, and I am amazed that Cervantes actually could understand at all how a woman could operate in that time. I think that man must have been an absolute wonder to befriend.
Oh, absolutely. I am dearly in love with the writing. But Frank and I would like to discuss a more private matter.
Oh. Okay, private matter, and
possibly out of earshot of our friend, if that's okay. Because I don't think he'd be overly pleased with what my penchants, to be honest with you. I was hoping I might get my hands on a Spanish translation of the Golden Brow, if that's at all possible, if you have one in the shop.
Excuse me a second. And closes the door. Gentlemen, what you're asking is rather unusual.
Well, it's fully in print in the rest of kind of Northern Europe. I just wondered if you had a Spanish translation.
As I said, what you're asking for is rather unusual. So, listen, if you were in a place like Madrid or Paris, perhaps, I would say, okay, I would expect people who are into certain types of studies that would warrant the search for such books. But we are in the middle of nowhere. So,
Anselmo.
And I completely understand that. I mean, you have to understand, before I became a police officer, I was actually trained as an artist. And running in certain circles, my mind was open to kind of more esoteric paradigms. And during this time, I became a big follower of more divergent ways of looking at the circle of life. And one of those was the potential or actuality of magic being a physical thing that could not only help in creativity, but also be how do I put it? An alternative way of looking at the world as we see it. And this is what my reason for the interest in the literature that I just mentioned. It's not for any kind of nefarious means or anything like that. It's purely an academic interest.
Okay. Let's say that I could get that book. Let's say that I don't have it now. But let's say that I could get my hands on it in, say, a couple of hours, perhaps. Hypothetically, of course. I'm not saying that I can. I'm not saying that I could, or I will. Not at all. But I must ask, exactly what would you expect to find in that book? Just in case I can suggest another type of book that could be of use rather than the one that you just asked for.
Anselmo, I am not a man for evasions. You know this.
Yes, I do.
I was in the war, and now I am a fisherman, and frankly, we need help. Yesterday, we saw a man in a jail cell torn apart by something that smelled yellow. Some sort of, I don't know what to call it, a demon. It came out to the wall, and it tore him to pieces. I can't describe it more than it smelled yellow. I swear, on my soul, that is a true statement.
Well,
We need help. We are seeing and confronting things that I have no name for. And I cannot state it more plainly that if we do not find some sort of help, some sort of knowledge, we will almost assuredly die.
Okay. Looks at the priest who is busying himself, burying his nose in, in a book of the life of Santa Teresa de Avila. What does...
He saw it too.
So that's what... So if I may ask, and forgive me if I am being cautious here, but if I may ask, exactly why are we talking so he can't hear us? Why can't he hear this conversation? Inspector, exactly what were you going to ask me? Because I know what Martin is asking me, but I would like to know exactly what were you going to ask me? What do you want with the book?
Our friend's rationality, and this is going to seem really bad of me, is to kind of quantify everything in the space of angels and demons, which I don't think is the case at all. I don't think we live in that world. I obviously don't want to upset his sensibilities. He's a good friend. I don't think it's as simple as heavens and hells. That there is a lot more to this that I don't understand. And the only thing I can tell you 100% is I have not got a clue about what's going on.
Okay.
There are certain forces at work here which I cannot explain. However, I feel they're being directed by a certain individual who is calling upon these powers which he may or may not have control of. Now, I know from reading passages in certain books and having certain things available to me that there are other paradigms out there and other reasonings for how these things might come to being or may exist. I would never say as a man of science, because I'm not a man of science. I'm not even a man of logic. I'm a man of fancy and creativity. I can imagine all sorts of reasonings and kind of whys and ways this, but I cannot get the images out of my head. They have affected me deeply, to the point when confronted by, and I'll only mention it as the beast, I passed out. And I have not been well in my mind since. And I need to find some kind of rationality to this. That will not be explained by books written by scribes and Pharisees and people of God. I don't know.
The thing, my friends, is, Father, if you may please leave the book where you found it and join us.
Yes, of course.
Well, I understand why you are here. However, this is not the right place. Don't get me wrong, I could find exactly what is it that found you, but you must also understand that there are, let's just say, several possibilities. So I could find a book that describes the creature that you are describing, but that doesn't mean that it is going to be that creature. Was that creature dealt with, or is it still at large?
It fled.
It's still at large, which means that it could return, couldn't it?
Yes.
Something that we rather avoid. Also, you have, if I am not mistaken, mentioned somebody behind this.
We assume. And the only thing I can say that I have noticed on the 2 occasions that it has attacked, in both instances, they have been locked, squared rooms.
Yes, I would like to know who that person is that you suspect.
I don't
feel we can tell you at this stage. Why do you?
we can't say with any certainty whether it is this person. And I don't want to besmirch anyone's characters until we know.
I see.
Who do you think we think it is?
Oh, please, my dear father. I am not in the business of guessing. I'm in the business of researching. So I can help you because I can sense that you are indeed in some danger, and quite frankly, usually as these things go, just the mere fact that you're talking to me is probably putting me in danger too, which I am not all that keen on. I have a very peaceful existence at the moment. So you either tell me what you know and I can try and help, or I can tell you where to go and find some help. But believe you me, sirs, games I shan't play. You decide.
I think we're going to have to, and to use your words, Father, take a leap of faith here. We've got to start trusting someone, or we can trust no one. I'm not going to say unless the entire party agrees.
Tell him.
That's fine. I find it amusing that he thinks this isn't playing games. This is absolutely playing games, but proceed.
Who's going to say it first?
Ramon Gonzalez.
Oh. Yeah. Him. Of course. Had to be.
We believe him to be
Dangerous.
at least a strong suspect in the murder of his former paramour.
Okay.
We have no proof, of course, and this is not the sort of investigation that lends itself toward proof. What should we do? Go to the court and say, oh, he summoned this thing, and it came through a wall, and it rips people apart, and it smells yellow. Right?
Okay.
We must step outside the bounds of law for this.
Look, I know Ramon very, very well indeed. And there is a reason why he doesn't come to my bookstore anymore. Which one of you would you like to come with me on a journey? I would like to show you the same thing I showed Ramon and give you a experience as to why he doesn't want to set foot in my store.
If he does not want to set foot here, then we need to know why.
Oh, that's what I would like to show you. I am not going to describe you because that would be difficult. So I can either show one of you, so you may know. I think it's important that at least one of you understand exactly who you are dealing with. And I mean myself, not Ramon.
My just on a personal note, my sanity is still a little bit shaky. It should be me.
Father.
Of course.
It's going to make you a believer.
Please. He steps outside the counter, and he offers you his hand.
I'll take his hand.
Please follow me. No matter what you do, no matter what you see, no matter what you hear, just do not let go of my hand ever.
Proceed.
He takes you behind the counter, and you can see how on the shelf there is, right by the edge of the shelf, so this is where the books are, there's a little gap in here, and there is what appears to be an hourglass, about this size, about 5 inches tall.
Okay.
And he turns it around, holds your hand, and says, "Do follow me." And you begin to walk towards the end of the corridor. Martin and Inspector, you see how darkness engulfs them. And within half a second, perhaps 3 steps, they have completely disappeared.
Well, Frank, that's a hell of a thing.
Father, you find yourself, you have Anselmo on your side, and you find yourself in what appears to be a tunnel of complete and utter darkness, where you can see nothing, hear nothing, touch nothing, except that you can see Anselmo perfectly, as if there was bright light everywhere. And Anselmo looks at you, and you hear in your mind, "Let's keep walking." Roll your sanity, please.
The request from the GM, no investigator ever wants to hear.
No problem at all.
You have a chill down your spine when you realize that this is impossible. I mean, it's absolutely impossible. Firstly, the amount of time that you've been walking, it's probably 300 meters. That store cannot be 300 meters. The fact that you can see your shoes, but you cannot see or sense any ground, and yet you're touching something solid. There are no walls, there's no nothing. And Anselmo stops, looks at you and says, "Think of that beast."
Why?
He doesn't repeat it.
Well, now he said it, it's like the classic, don't think of elephants.
Correct. Suddenly around you, the dark matter, the blackness that's engulfing everything and you cannot see, begins to bend and take shape, and images begin to form, and suddenly you have in front of you an exact replica of what you were seeing in Seville, except that you're looking at it and you can see yourself and you can see everything that was going on and hear everything, including this intense smell of yellow that's everywhere. And you're reliving again as a witness.
So I think I would recoil, but I'm conscious that I need to keep holding his hand. So I'll keep tight hold, but I will recoil away from it. Is it moving?
No. No, he's completely still. He ain't moving anywhere.
What is this? Why? What am I to do with this?
This, my friend, is knowledge.
But what do I do with it? I can see it, but what help? What? How does that help?
Learn what you can, because you're not gonna get a choice of seeing this again. Learn.
How? If I'm not getting any response, then I'll move forward and I'll tentatively reach out to try and touch it, or to touch things around it if there are other things first.
You cannot truly touch it, in the sense that when you go toward one of the people there, your hand doesn't really go through it. It just waves around. But by the time that's gone, for example, from shoulder to shoulder, the hand is back at the beginning of the first shoulder that you were touching.
Okay.
As the scene is developing itself again, and the only thing that you can see is once again that creature and how reality bends around the space where it came out, as if light itself began to fluctuate in a different manner until it comes out.
So can I see where it emerges from? Can I see if there's a pattern, if there's some indicator there that gives me the ability to spot it again in future?
The only thing that you can see it comes from is between the two walls at the back of the room.
Okay, so it comes out of an angle. Okay. Does this keep replaying, did you say, Paco?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm listening intently as well to see if I can hear any words that act as a trigger or as a summoning or anything like that.
Nope.
And equally, I know the smell of yellow is all pervasive, but at what point does that appear? Does it appear at the same time as the thing, or does it preempt its appearance?
It preempts about a couple of seconds, then the creature appears.
Okay.
And Selma looks at you and says, "This is enough. Let's walk." And it takes you walking again. And it says, "And now you are going to find out why this must never be said to anyone else. This why absolutely ever your confession secret. You know how people talk to you in confession and you swear you're never going to say anything to anyone? This is one level up. Because if I ever hear that you have spoken about this to anyone, if you ever did anything at all to talk to me, not to talk to me to fight me or to hurt me in any way, please look behind you now. Do me a sanity roll again, please.
Yeah, no problem.
You look back and you just manage to contain your sphincter as behind you there is a wall of something kind of gelatinous, kind of metallic, kind of like glass, where eyes begin to blink and look at you with weird shaped pupils and irises that you have never seen before, colors that you cannot possibly understand. And out of that wall of impossibility, small fibrous kind of tentacle goes toward you. What are you going to do?
Again, I will recoil from it, but keeping tight hold of his hand. So you're threatening me with this?
Oh, no, my friend. Tentacles go and kind of prodding here. And so this is not a threat. This is an insurance. You see, you begin to feel how something is being drained from you. Something is kind of taking something from you that you don't know what it is. You have no idea what it is. And it says, Anselmo says, you see, I have suffered 1,000 lives to obtain this knowledge, because knowledge is what I thrive on, and knowledge is what I'm taking from you. So please, do not think for a second that this is a threat, because actually this is my offering of friendship to you. I have brought you to my innermost sacred inner sanctum, and you are paying the price for it now. And you shall be welcome here again should you need to use this space. But please understand that my safety comes before anything and everything, and that includes you. So I am taking from you what I need. I am taking from you something that you no longer use. And now we may head back. And this is why Ramon will not even dream of touching me. Because what I got from him, that could hurt him, not just here, but anywhere else. And he doesn't want that.
And you would be prepared to share that with me?
No.
So I don't see what benefit I've got from this.
Oh, don't worry.
You've taken something from me,
yeah.
And I now know that this creature appears out of the corner of a room.
Mm-hmm.
What benefit have you given me?
Oh, we'll discuss it in front of your friends. Please, let's head back. In what appears to be 5 seconds, these two come back into the room, and Anselmo is carrying a book under his arm. Father, would you like a glass of water or something? Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Good. Well, my friends, I am going to tell you all I can tell you, and I am going to tell you where to get some proper help, because other than to show you some pages from this book, I'm afraid there is little else I can do.
Any help that you can give.
Okay. He praises this massive tome. It's about this thick, and it's made of pages that are really, really thick and very torn. Opens the book by a page that apparently is completely random. He hasn't really flipped through the pages or anything. He's just looking at you, very smiley, just open the page, turns the book around, says, "Is this the creature?" And indeed it is.
I marvel at it. Yeah. And I become speechless at this point, but I definitely I'm looking for confirmation from the other two that that's definitely the creature.
See, that is it.
Okay. There isn't much that I can tell you about it, except that it is deadly, that it is vicious, and please, 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 no funny faces, no heaven or hell, none of that Abrahamic nonsense, please. It's not from this realm of existence.
Another world?
another realm of existence. It's not the same as a world, because a world, funnily, would be similar to our world, but different, but it kind of have similarities. This is kind of like another realm of existence.
Sort
Like a mirror image.
No, because there's nothing to reflect. It's just something from another existence. I know it's hard to understand, believe me, I can barely grasp it, and I'm not going to think that you're going to be able to get to grip with it immediately. So don't worry about it. Just know that this thing can kill you with the literal tip of its tongue. So don't let it touch you.
Who do we go to that can tell us how to fight it?
Now, that's the interesting bit, because the fact is that, well, you can't. Takes the book, closes it, and tosses it back behind the counter towards the darkness of the shelves, and the book disappears. It's gone. And you don't hear it drop, you don't hear it fall on the ground, it's gone.
I wish I could be that efficient with shelving things again.
And he said, okay, look, you don't need knowledge of this creature, because it doesn't matter what you know, you can't stop it that easily, at least not with bullets, which is, I'm sure, what you would try to do. So I think your best course of action, in my humblest suggestion, would be to find some sort of preemption to the appearance of the creature. I think that would be a lot better for all of you. So I can help you with that. But I believe that there is somebody in town at the moment with the right skill set to actually give you what you need to succeed in your endeavor.
Who?
Well, this is where it's going to be a little bit tricky. I would ask in the Roma camp. Ask the gypsies.
If they know, they know.
Ask them what?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Because I don't know what can you tell them to get them to help you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, if you go there and ask, hey, can you help us with a creature from another, existence? That's just kind of thing. But hey, up to you. Whatever you want.
We need to speak with the leader of their camp, convince him to help us. Then we can ask specific questions, I think.
Or her. Does this creature have a name that they would recognise it by?
Not that I can pronounce, no. It's another existence. Sorry.
So what of the person who's sent it?
Well, you see, that is the true mystery, because, I mean, these creatures can be tamed just as much as a dragon would be tamed if they actually were still alive. They were notoriously grumpy.
And for what reason? What is the reasoning? I think certainly, a man with that much power, it'd be less of a problem just to have one of his kind of goons rub people out rather than kind of using some sort of creature from the darkest depths of wherever to kind of take care of business for him, especially when,
Frank.
Look, Ramon fancies himself a cut above the rest. Let's put it that way. And throughout the years, he has acquired, I have to say, some very, very interesting stuff that he doesn't know how to use. And don't get me wrong, neither would I if I had them. The only difference is that if I had them, at least it would be in the hands of somebody who would be able to fully appreciate them, instead of just being trying to make them work for their own selfish, stupid, petty goals.
So, it sounds odd. So, I mean, just to rationalise this, in occult terms, he's showboating, is he?
Showboating, please do explain that to me for the layman in the room.
he's showing off. He's kind of flexing his muscles.
More than
by
show
doing
off. No, I don't think he's showing off. You see, showing off means that he's flaunting, that he wants to. No, I think his motives are very much his own, which is what makes him such a dangerous person. Because the truth is that he cares not about anybody else at all.
Power is heady, but it is, if I may coin, how do you say, an aphorism, also petty.
Yeah, very.
We saw men like him during the war. The war was proof of that. It was nothing more than a family squabble.
Maybe, but this is a family squabble with artifacts that no one knows what can do.
Anselmo, what did you take from me?
Say it again.
What did you take from me?
Oh, memories you've forgotten. That's all. It's basically everything that you have ever forgotten that you're never going to remember again. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing useful to you.
I feel I should be the judge of that. I'm going to storm out.
Maybe I should have gone.
My parting words to him is, I really would like that book, by the way.
Yeah, no. Yes, that I'm afraid it's not going to happen. But so, are you staying there, Terry?
Yeah, just for a second or two.
Martin, you staying? Are you gone? You've also.
He's Martin's going to go after his buddy the Padre, but not before kind of knocking on the counter. I'll be back for that Cervantes. And go out to, I mean, obviously our buddy has seen, we've all seen some really astoundingly bad stuff in the past 24 hours. And Martin right now, weirdly enough, the scarred up, somewhat PTSD veteran of the Great War, seems to be the most stable person in the group. So he is going to go lend that strength to his friend.
Okay. So, Inspector, I am so sorry that your friend has reacted like that, and I do apologize profusely, and I hope I will be able to apologize to him profusely for what I have done. But I hope someday he will come to understand that it was a very necessary evil.
I'm struggling to understand any of this. I feel like a babe lost in the woods. Mm-hmm. The only thing I know with any certainty at this stage is I know nothing at all.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss. In this case, ignorance is death. It's up to you whether you want to remain ignorant.
But it falls to me to kind of protect, for some reason, the status quo and to protect the people of this town. Is there any advice you can give me that may help?
Talk to the Roma.
As inane as it might be. Sorry?
Talk to the Roma.
Talk to the Roma.
That's the only thing I can tell you, because right now it's the only thing I know. Believe me. Otherwise, I would...
And you, as I say, you've taken us from 0 knowledge to 0.1 knowledge, and it's.
By the way, Inspector, I mean, I would be really grateful if at some point, for whatever reason, you came into the possession of any of Ramon's artifacts. I would be very, very grateful to you.
You seem to be a man who, if a favor was offered, yes, well, I cannot say anything with any certainty, but I mean, if it's for
Dang it. Johnny Theodore, terrible camera cover. I'll be right back, guys.
I would like to know more. And then if by doing so, then maybe yes, that might be a possibility.
I thank you, and I promise I will make it very well worth your time.
Okay, with that I must leave. But thank you for your time.
It is my pleasure. Okay, you depart.
Feeling very dreary.
You depart the store and you go back into town. Oops.
I think I just light up a fag and wander for a while.
Okay, Father, where are you now?
In the bar.
A cigarette, I should say.
Okay, well, you see the Father in the nearest bar, which is about like 30 meters away, because there's a bar in every corner, pretty much. It's like nowadays.
Brandy.
Well, it gives you a nice, stiff glass of very dark and cognac sort of thing.
Swirl it twice, drain it once.
Do you know what? What I'm going to do?
Of rum and stuff.
I'm going to wander back to my apartment and get changed so I don't look like a bloody policeman. If we're going to go to the Roma, I'm going to go get changed into some kind of work.
I can't go to the Roma.
I'm going to go.
Yeah,
I have no problem with
I definitely can't go, I don't think. I just don't think they would welcome me.
And the Rome are incredibly religious.
Yeah, I think you're getting the wrong idea there. No, you kind of both the Roma and the Romani folk are very, very religious.
The individual that I think we're going to see. Yeah, okay. Outreach work.
Maybe we'll just do dress down Wednesdays. We'll go and get changed.
Sorry, that hit the spot.
Well, I come back to the sound of sinister laughter.
Yeah, we're very sorry, Martin. It was nice knowing you.
Oh crap!
No, I'm downing brandies, and Frank's off to go and get changed into something less comfortable.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodrigo.
He took something from me without my real permission. Without permission. And I don't know what he took, and I can never know what he took because he took it completely. And he says, I no longer have need for it. It's not his decision.
I'm not going to ask what you saw. I don't want to.
I saw nothing. I saw the creature again.
You saw it.
Yes. Like a film. It emerges from corners. It emerges from the corner. It emerged from the corner of the room every time that I saw it. The smell precedes it by a couple of seconds. Yay, we get 2 seconds notice. I got nothing else from it. He stole something from me.
He stole part of you. Anselmo is no devil, but that sort of bargain is the same. I saw it too many times. not just in the war. And I do not think that we should ask too deeply exactly what Anselmo is. You were gone for 5 seconds, if that, to us. But you have the look of a man. I saw it in the trenches. Someone that knew that they would be next to be sent up over the wire. We are all, Rodrigo, we are all over the wire, and we have all had something taken from us, you more than most. And if you want to cry off and go back to the church, Frank and I can finish this, I think.
There is no question of crying off. Far from it.
I want to bring him to justice as much as you do. Even if I have no personal stake in this, he has made it personal. And he is a murderer. You ask why... We ask why he would do it this way, while a gunman would be more efficient. A gunman can be questioned, a gunman can be interrogated, a gunman is a witness. He is using, if Anselmo is right, great power for the most petty of ends. He is doing it because he thinks he's better than us. He is doing it because he can. And I am tired of seeing people die at the hands of those who do so, that order their deaths one way or another because they can.
Which is a wonderful speech, but it doesn't change what Anselmo did.
I know.
And Anselmo believes that he has some sort of power over me now.
I don't think...
I'm a man of God. I don't believe in revenge and retribution. Nevertheless, he will answer for his crimes.
In time. For now, we have the task that if God has set it before us, then God has set it before us. If it is not God, then we set ourselves against, how is it said, powers and principalities? It would seem that the principalities are somewhat more distant than we originally reckoned.
So be it.
And Rodrigo, if I am good at talking. I talk a lot. I am not the most intelligent man, I know that. But if there is something that I can do to help you right now, I will. You're my friend.
You could buy another brandy.
Bartender.
Okay. Inspector, where are you?
I've made it back to my small apartment. I have a stiff drink. I have a shower because we haven't showered. Well, I have a wash because we're still pretty dusty from the road and that kind of stuff. I get changed into civilian clothing, flat cap, whatever. My mind, I start writing notes in my book to myself. Should I die? This is what I've seen, kind of stuff. And do some drawings of the things that I've seen. And fold it up, put it in an envelope, and then put it in the leather suitcase underneath my bed.
The doing of the drawing and everything, that's going to take you a while. That's not something that happens, immediately. How long do you want to spend doing that?
I can sketch quickly. I can do a sketch in about 5 minutes.
How many sketches are you going to do?
I'm just going to do the one of the beast and kind of write down what I've seen and that kind of stuff, just in notation form.
Okay.
So if anything happens to me and they come back and they clear out my belongings, there's a marker there to say, look, I have seen this.
Yeah, just don't do an XYZ perspective study there because then it might pop out of page.
It's purely in notation form. It's just that I'm very, very curious about all this. With describing games, the loss of sanity has kind of opened my mind up to the possibilities that are on offer now, and I'm actually very interested in what's going on. And he's still trying to figure out what it is in his head, and whether we can potentially stop this, or whether there's some way to kind of battle the unbattleable almost. And he's in a bit of a conflict at the moment. He just needs some headspace on his own. That's why, as much as he would love to have kind of gone to the cantina and kind of spoken to Martin and the father, his head is a bit of a maelstrom at the moment. He's still trying to kind of calculate, trying to be logical and trying to calculate all this all together. But he's completely intrigued by the bookstore owner. Completely intrigued by the bookstore owner, and he wants to know more. This is the thing now. He's seen a little bit of knowledge, and he wants to know more. This is his thinking at the moment. Okay. So he's pacing around his room while he's sketching and trying to get dressed and taking a couple of stiff scotches.
How long is it going to take you to do all that?
I would have thought it wouldn't be more than kind of half an hour or so.
Okay. Good. So you spend half an hour, you do all this. Yeah. Are you going to come back to see your companions?
Yeah, no, I'm going to make my way back to the cantina.
Okay. You've been having a drink and, 2 or maybe 5, I don't know. When Inspector arrives, and you see these two. Father Rodrigo is very shaken at the moment, and Martin is kind of a little bit lost in that he would like to do something but doesn't know what to do, or how to do, or when to do what, by whom and for how long and at what speed, sort of thing.
I take a seat beside them. Take a deep breath and swear quite loudly. Take a drink. And then say to the Romanis.
Agreed.
I know a few of them that work the docks. I think I can get us an introduction. Which is, Mark the player's attempt to use a smokes roll to go ahead and maybe get us somebody friendly. Martin is far beyond prejudiced at this point. Humans is humans to him, with all the blindness that implies.
Okay, Inspector, this is something that you are very, very aware of. The Roma normally camp in town for a week during the cattle fair. And this year, however, they tend to move with the cattle fair from place to place, because that way they get the odd jobs, helping move everything and set up the fences and whatnot. This year, however, they are staying in town because 3 Roma disappeared during that week. And although they went to the police to, ask for help, that the commissioner is just not interested in helping them at all. They just want them gone. And right now there is a little bit of tension in town because people are starting to feel that they're over welcome in this day.
Right.
So they are not there because they want to. They are there because they are saying they are not going to go until they find what's happened to the 3 members of the camp who've disappeared.
Then I need to offer my assistance then, don't I? Being one of the more cosmopolitan members of the police force, that's if I know that's probably one of the attacks that I'll go under, and then I'll explain that to both Martin and the father to say, look, we could just go and offer the hand of friendship.
Like I said, I know some. I have employed some of their. I do not know the word. Tribe, group,
clan.
The clan.
Well, family.
Yep.
Even.
Do you know who's in charge?
Now I have no, but we could find out once we are there if we can convince them of our good intentions. We will need to be careful, of course, because we do not want to bring the hell that we are seeing down upon their heads.
But we should also bring a gift. Should we not?
Paco, what have my dealings been like with the Roma? Do they come into church?
Oh, yeah, they well, they do go into church, but usually they try to they avoid going when the rest of the town is going to go, because otherwise people would feel. And also, Roma gypsy families, they are quite gregarious. So where one goes, all go. So it is likely that if a mass, they went to mass, you could find 50 or 60 people. All
They
together.
would generally turn up for christenings, though, wouldn't they?
Yes,
Like,
on weddings. It's, yeah.
And will they have given, more importantly for me, will I have ever taken confession off any of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I will know some parts of the inner workings that, it's not stuff that's subject to confessional limits. It's just general chitter-chatter that may have come up. So I'm bound to have picked up some names of individuals. Fine. So we've all got a connection. We've all got a link that we can not exploit, but yeah, okay.
You all of you know something that you can rely on in order to try and establish some sort of connection with these people.
Okay.
Gesundheit.
Well, I think we're properly lubricated.
To the camp.
And
A gift, yes, a gift.
Let's just we're in a bar. Let's get some bottles of brandy, or
Martin's going to get some of that fig-derived aperitif that he prefers to drink.
Okay.
Moroccan Pop Skull.
Nice.
I've actually had that stuff. It's pretty good.
Father, what are you wearing?
Oh, I'm still wearing my priestly... Actually, no, because we travelled here, didn't we? So I'll be in my travelling garb.
I mean, your traveling garb would normally black trousers, a black shirt, and your white collar. Will you still be wearing
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. You head to the Roma camp, which is quite surprisingly busy, and they keep themselves to themselves. They know that they are not welcome, and they don't really want to cause any kind of trouble. So they're trying to do the odd job here and there, wherever they can and are allowed. And true it is that they do go out there just doing, legerdemain tricks from time to time, just to get by, card tricks and that sort of thing. The camp is about 30, perhaps 40 tents and some carts with horses. It is very well organized, you can see. And you see clothes being hung, and you see fish being dried. They know how to look after themselves. Mm-hmm. And they all look at you arriving, and it's a bit, what the hell are they doing? They're more surprised and curious and anything. And some look at you with suspicion, of saying, are they going to come to tell us to go again? Sort of faces.
Is
Any
there
that I
anyone
recognise, I'll greet instantly.
Sorry, you were both talking at the same time. I didn't hear you. Simon.
Any that I recognise, I will just greet instantly in a very friendly manner.
Oh,
and try and put them at ease.
You do, and one of them in particular, a man, runs away.
It's fine. He's obviously going to tell somebody in charge. That's precisely what we want.
Oh, it's more the fact that you look at him and he thinks, oh shit, people are going to know that I had something to confess. And now they're going to be asking me.
I've seen him in the church.
Yeah, but that's not what he's thinking. He's thinking, oh my God.
Yeah. I can't help him with that. That's his own personal issue.
Terry, what were you going to say?
I didn't know whether there was a name of a matriarchal figure or something like that where we could kind of approach, or someone who'd...
Okay, you know that the man who came to the police station to file the report of the missing 3 people, it's called Francisco Cepero, and he's the patriarch.
Right. So that's. I will ask someone as politely as I can if he's about, and if we could speak with him.
You want to talk tobacco? All right. Stay there. Don't go. Just stay there. Paco! A massive scream, as if all of a sudden this man really has a massive bellow inside his body. And but a couple of minutes later, this very, very old gaunt man with plenty of scars and wearing a black hat comes to you, surprisingly agile and energetic for what you think is a pretty advanced age.
I mean, these people work hard, and they're probably in pretty decent health.
And wiry, yeah.
Looks at you. So, what?
Francisco,
are you going to tell us to go again? Are you just going to tell us to go again?
No, quite the opposite, in fact.
What do you mean the opposite?
The reason I'm dressed is I'm actually interested in the report you filed. I'm Frank. You may have seen me in around town. I'm from the police station.
Yes. What are you doing here?
I want to take your case.
He's taken aback by that. It's a bit...
I want you to tell me as much as you can. I want to take the case.
And there's something else we should discuss in private.
Yep. I think the two may be linked, possibly.
He looks at you suspiciously, as if it's a bit... Oh, okay.
Would it help if I handed in a bottle of whiskey now or later?
My God, we've all brought booze.
Yeah.
That appears to be the #1 fuel of any horror investigation here. Is let's get liquored. Let's get liquored up and go get in danger.
It numbs the pain of horror.
Okay. Whatever. Come. Turns around, starts to walk, and you can sense every single pair of eyes on the back of your neck. And the intensity of that stare is nothing compared with the intensity that you felt in Seville.
Oh, hell, that's comforting then. Oh, good. It's humans that are watching us and not using some kind of crazy black magic stuff. Awesome.
So
it's nice to be the center of attention.
It really is.
So he looks at you and says, right, now that we're away, listen, you three. It's been 3 months. You've done nothing. You've not given us any work. You haven't helped. You've done nothing. And now we have everybody wanting us to leave this place, and you have done nothing to help us find our 3 brothers. So tell me exactly, why should I believe now that you are going to do nothing to help us?
Because it's only just been brought to my attention.
And why should I believe that either? Months.
Do you want help or not?
Rodrigo, easy.
I offer you a peace offering, and I give him the bottle of whiskey. It's actually it's from my own collection. It's rather an expensive one.
Keep it.
No, it's yours. Please take it. I'd feel better if you took it.
Like, I would feel better if you had done something months ago, but you haven't.
We may not be able to find your people. I am a fisherman. You know me. I have employed some of your clan. We may not be able to find them, but if we cannot find them, we can at least avenge them. We are not here on...
Avenge them? What is there to avenge? What do you know that you haven't told me?
We don't know yet.
Then what is there to avenge? Father, are you okay with that? Suddenly, no, I mean, you talk to me like I am some sort of no one, and now you're okay with vengeance? What kind of Christian are you, Father?
Sorry? At what point did I mention vengeance?
That was me.
Don't put words into my mouth. Francesco, do you want help or not? Forget the fact that it's late. That is water that's gone. That's flown. That's gone into the sea now. You're being offered help.
Rodrigo.
Take that help. This man is a good man and he wants to help you. I am merely here to look after the souls of the people in this encampment. Trust this man. I do. You
Suddenly,
should.
from behind the crowd, you start to hear the sounds of a female voice. Oh, come on, the lot of you, stop it. As you turn around, you see an old woman, black hair, cold black hair, tied back on a very, very tight bun. And she's carrying a cane that she's brandishing and waving around to get rid of people as they just get out of here. And she looks at Thebero. Looks at her. What are you doing, you useless other thing? Get out of here, men!
I immediately smiled because I knew it would be a woman that was the power behind the throne.
And she looks at you, Father, and says, "Oh, good Lord."
No, it's just Rodrigo.
She's tiny. I mean, she's tiny. She's like, I don't know, the Roma version of Yoda sort of thing. She's
Is it the Mother Superior wearing a different garb?
No, but you could tell that there are some similarities. You
They might be related.
Acting staff.
No, it's kind of, Spanish people age very similarly. But she's kind of, whereas you sensed when you were with Mother Superior, she had an air of authority. This woman has an air of power. You can't really describe what it is, but you get the feeling that a horse would not be able to knock her off. And she approaches you and raises a hand towards your face and touches you very gently and said, "Oh, you've lost so much."
Mother, we are here to help and to ask for your
don't call
help.
me mother. My children don't call me mother.
All right.
Oh, come on, for goodness sake.
Just
Come
trying to
with
be
me.
polite.
Come on,
Yes, ma'am.
come on, come
Yes,
with
ma'am.
me. Ma'am is good. Come on, follow me. She takes you to a cart. And she goes up, like hopping up the steps. The cart is quite wide. It would be about 6 feet, perhaps 7 feet wide. And something like 10 to 12 feet long. It's like a caravan.
Yeah, it's about the size of an old school Conestoga wagon.
Yeah. So, come on, we're going to be cozy, but come on, come in. You go inside, and it is quite cozy. There is a small table in the center, and there is a deck of cards on a tablecloth. And around, there are by the sides, there are some seats. And she says, "Oh, come on, sit down." She goes out again and says to Francisco, "Come on, make yourself useful and bring some coffee or some tea or whatever. And some lemonade."
I like lemonade.
Turns around and shuts the door. So, okay. So, now there is a woman in charge. What are you doing here?
We need your help.
No, that much I know, my child. That much I do know. But why are you here?
We need protection against something that is... No? Oh, all right.
Why? did you come here?
Ah,
It was suggested we come here by Anselmo.
Of course. Of course he would, wouldn't he? Bless his evil cotton socks. So, he looks at you and says, what did he take from you?
He says it was memories. Memories that I don't remember. But it wasn't.
You know, for people who think that we are charlatans, you have them very much among you, and you don't even see them. How would you know that he's taking anything?
I just know.
That's what he wants you to believe. He's taken nothing except your peace of mind. That's how he plays. That's how he works. That's why he doesn't come here.
Everybody's avoiding everybody else.
Well, we like to fight our own fights. Now, I know that you don't have a reason to trust me. And believe you me, I don't have a reason to help you. But the truth is, he's not taking anything from you except your peace of mind. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner that you'll be yourself again.
I will deliberate upon it. In the meantime, you have lost people.
Yes, I have.
We have lost somebody that was an acquaintance of ours, but lost in a horrific way. Yes.
Of course.
We know what did it. We suspect we know who was behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We need help.
I know. And okay, I'm going to tell you what I know. And she starts. She takes the tarot cards and puts a card on the table and says, "I know there is death upon you." Takes another card, and I know that there is a man that has power that he shouldn't have. Takes another card. I know that you're going to go on a trick. And takes another card. And I know that the future of the whole town is on your shoulders. So, knowing that, there's this creature, and yes, I know of the creature. I know of the nun. I know how she died, and yes, I can help you. You have been observed, haven't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday.
more than once.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Okay. This is what we're going to do. You are going to find what happened to the 3 men we have lost. And in return, I am going to show you how to see that creature and also how to see whatever it is that is observing you.
Okay. And how to defeat them?
That is unfortunately not something that I can help you with. You see, there are some things that cannot be destroyed by earthly means.
If you can see all of this, why can't you see what happened to your 3 men?
That is why we are still here. I need your help. I don't know. Which is why it's so worrying.
Where were they last seen, or what were they doing when
They,
or what had they gone to do?
They were heading out of town. They have been hired to transport things toward Benalup.
Who were they hired by?
Oh, I don't
Rodrigo.
know. Somebody from the docks. I don't know. Doesn't matter who hired them. If they are not responsible for their disappearance, they certainly would be the last people to see them alive. And probably guilty of something anyway. Because, you know, it's us. And they weren't us.
That is useful. The docks I know.
Head to Benalup and find my men. Oh, and there's one more thing that I want in return. A mass.
Where, when, why?
Because we haven't been able to attend a mass just for us. So I want a mass just for us in church.
Of course, I would be delighted to. Here, now?
Are we in a church? Father, please, some respect.
I can arrange a mass at the church, of course.
See, you're feeling a lot better now, aren't you?
No, not yet.
Oh, you will, don't worry. Try to think of something you can remember.
I will immediately think back to my time in the seminary.
See?
What did you do on your 13th birthday?
Asking me? Or?
No, you.
My 13th birthday. I don't know. The birthdays blend into one. There was nothing special about my 13th. We probably spent it on the beach. But no, there is no fixed memory that tells me that was my 13th. That could the memories I do have, they could just be false memories. I'm not yet satisfied either way. Quizzes on events I do remember may or may not help. In the meantime, though, you've given me something to focus on, which is preparing a mass. Paco, I'll know the schedule for the church, so I can pick a time slot right now and say the church is free at such and such a time, earliest possible opportunity. Is that suitable for you?
Of course it is.
I will welcome you with open arms, as you know I always do.
Good, thank you for that. This man.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yes.
The door fronts open, and there comes this man with a tray. Oh, for goodness sake, well on time, just when they were about to leave. You keep being... And she goes back into being the absolutely grumpy old sort who needs to be telling off everybody just because it seems like it is some sort of national sport at the time.
Okay. I'm guessing it's getting quite late.
It's about 8 p.m. already, and although the sun is not close to setting yet, but yes, and it's been a very long day of an awful lot of time driving.
Oh.
It's very, very intense. and you've been thoroughly beaten up
I
by events.
suggest we return to the town and retire to our beds after supper.
Fine idea. So, Paco, I got a question.
Mhm.
One I randomly rolled for Martin's wealth. He came up with a D8 wealth die. He is actually pretty well off. Would it be possible to leave these folks just a quiet envelope of money to help make up for the lost wages?
Yes and no. It would be absolutely fine, but you would need to go to the bank and you would need to withdraw the money, or you would need to go back home where you have the money hidden somewhere, like underneath the mattress or under a tile or something. But you wouldn't have a lot of cash on you usually. I mean, you will have enough to get by, just like you go out today with $50 in your pocket, but you wouldn't have anything like $300 or $400 lying around just because.
If I could ask a favor, addressed to the matriarch.
She looks at you and said, yes, what is it?
Send Vanya around my house in the morning. I will make up for the wages that you people have not been paid. I have some saved away. A gift to help.
She looks at you a bit weird and said, well, I'll send somebody.
And again, if you have any problems, don't go to the front desk. Come straight to me. Ask for me in future, and I will deal with it personally.
You can tell they're kind of taken aback by all this display of humanity. It's a bit like, kind of like, is that what dignity smells like? This is how they're treating us. This is like, wow. You can tell they're not used to people being nice.
We bring a priest with us everywhere.
Buenas noches.
Thank you.
Thank you.